I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Michelle Carnahan. She is president at 30 Madison. Michelle, it's wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining me.
Great to be here, Judy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, I am very much looking forward to chatting, but before we do that, just a quick note to viewers, this interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. All right, so Michelle, tell me, what's 30 Madison?
30 Madison is a digital healthcare company that is designed to really take on the three biggest opportunities in healthcare: access and affordability, driving better outcomes, and patient experience. And we do that by providing a specialty care model that goes through a patient's ecosystem and patient's journey, from specialized telemedicine to personalized treatment at pharmacy, diagnostics to ongoing condition management. We're really happy to be able to manage about 20 chronic conditions through a specialty lens. So that's a little bit of what we do.
Okay. Now, where do you think the future of healthcare is headed, and what does this mean for 30 Madison?
Look, it's funny. I was reading something this morning about, 2023 will now be the year that we'll take all the pandemic learnings and, it'll be a reset, stable year. But I think that's what 21 was supposed to be in 22. So it's going to be interesting to see what 23 is. We use 22 to really build out capabilities, and using 23 to take those capabilities and the learnings that we had from COVID. The market and I think consumers themselves learned so much about healthcare. And one of the places we're really excited about is women's healthcare. So women make 80% of all healthcare decisions in their home, which has been that stat for a very long time. And we believe that women's healthcare is not just reproductive health, but I'll say on the other side of that, Judy, that reproductive care is healthcare too. So we've got both of those things playing out. We see a real opportunity through our Nurex brand to really go to the women who come to us for contraception to be able to say, how can we help you with your mental health needs? How can we expand mental health care coverage? If you look at some of the stats coming out of the pandemic, again, another pandemic learning, 3 times more women are impacted by anxiety and depression than men coming out of that. So we see a real opportunity to broaden where we are in reproductive health, to really expand into mental health, and finally to move into the menopausal space, because we want to normalize aging by providing women with solutions and treatment for menopause, and frankly, just talk about it more.
All right, so now the health tech space, it's a competitive one right now. What sets you apart?
Yeah, I always say I think there are kind of 4 things, and it's how they weave together that sets us apart. So first and foremost, I already mentioned, we really play in the specialty space. So we're not an urgent care telemedicine. We're not a primary care telemedicine. We really look at how do we work with specialists, build algorithms that really get specialty care to folks who can't get specialty care. Our migraine business, for instance, has a very large number of subscribers who do not have a headache specialist within 100 miles of them. So specialty care. Also, just our suite of conditions. We really want to be able to work with patients across that journey, across that consumer journey, and not only be there for the reproductive needs, but also be there for the mental health needs. Really help look at a person wholly versus as their conditions. People don't want to be their conditions. People are people, right? And then finally, we really believe that there is an opportunity to take and change the way outcomes are driven. If you look at our Cove business, which is for migraine sufferers, we see an 80% reduction in ER visits for folks who are subscribed in that and working through migraine treatment. So we're really excited about the breadth of our conditions, the scale that we have with almost 1 million patients active, and also the ability to be in both the insurance and enterprise space as well as the consumer space. Because if you think about healthcare, all of us would argue big, complicated, tough to figure out, but we have a lot of folks who have insurance and they want to use it. And so we want to work to make that happen with them and to have a consumer offering. So that's a little bit about kind of what differentiates us and where our bigger picture is.
And Michelle, how has the healthcare experience changed over the past few years?
I think there are some really simple ways that we all see in our life, right? Like, number 1, medicine comes to my door. Who would have ever thought it? Number 2, I can talk to a doctor online. I can talk with the doctor asynchronously through emails and portals and get solutions. I can do that with nurse practitioner. It's really expanded. I can have a connected blood pressure cuff that helps my physician monitor me along the way. And what I'm really excited about is what this can do for accessibility. So if you think about a migraine patient, it can take up to 48 to 50 days to get an appointment with a physician. In Cove, when you engage there, it's 48 hours until you have a connection with a physician and are really going down that road to solve your problem. So it's changed in all those ways, but what I'm most excited about is how do we take all of that and help it to change outcomes? You know, people are getting subpar outcomes today. How do we take all of that, and particularly for folks with chronic conditions? 80% of our US healthcare dollars are spent on chronic conditions. 2/3 of that is spent on folks who have 2 or more chronic conditions. How can we change the way chronic conditions are treated and prevented? That's where I think the real unlock is, with all those tools that we've, the pandemic kind of potentiated us building on.
All right. Well, Michelle, wonderful to talk with you. Thanks for stopping by and joining me on Floor Talk.
Absolutely. Thanks, Judy.